Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We got a list of 22 properties, and so we're going to start off with the first one. Now, I sort by price order because for some reason off the weekend, when we go back a couple days, the prices are all over the place. So you just click this button here, and then so the first one up is 235 Bronte Street South, number 32. And it's unfortunate that the photo gallery has like 3 shots of backyard flowers and one of the flowers in the front, because it's a nice place. It's clean, it's it's tidy. You've got renovated cabinets. It's a good floor plan. There's a finished basement here. There's a finished basement. It's just put together really well. There's trees around, relatively quiet location, and the price is good too at $289. So I think that this one should sell relatively quickly. It's certainly competitively priced, but yeah, the photos just aren't good. It's unfortunate. We'll see that in a couple listings today. So 165 Hampshire, 329. What you have with this one is a 3-story home. There's no backyard. You can see a little bit of the surrounding area. So it faces Hampshire Way. It's on the south side. And from my perspective, I look at something like this. It's 1073 square feet. There's a Mattamy version that's 1051 square feet. We talked about it last week at low tide. They're probably selling for about between $305 and $315. And on top of that, the Mattamy ones have 0 extra fees. This one has some extra fees for garbage removal, snow removal. So the value doesn't seem equivalent to me, although there's a few bonuses for it being brand new. There's some decent upgrades inside, the granite counters and so on. But I still don't know if it's worth $25,000 plus an extra fee of between $50 and $100 a month. There's another one on Hampshire Way here. It's $355. It's just a larger version. Basically, you're just getting more square footage. Looks like the ceilings are higher too, potentially a 9-foot ceiling, which can have a big impact on your impression of size. I still feel the same way. I don't know. Same with the ones at 6020 Dairy. I just don't know if I'm feeling them. I haven't seen a lot of them in person, but at least value-wise on paper, for me, if you're looking for something like that without a yard, in my eyes, you got to go with the Mattamy Village towns. They've got good floor plans. There's no condo fees. It just seems like it's the better option, at least in my eyes. So high side is $369. Pretty much entry point for a bungalow. I mean, even bungalows in half decent shape are selling for $399, $390, that kind of stuff. So at $370, there's a bit of buffer room, and actually that kind of looks stylish. And the carpets don't look so bad either, although they could be some wear and tear. The kitchen cupboards are wood, so you could even just take out the backsplash here. You could maybe modify the countertops and change the window coverings. You could really do a lot with this house with not a lot of money spent, at least from what I can see here. Even carpets, you put new carpets in. Probably underneath those carpets, come to think of it, is hardwood floors. But even if you had to replace flooring, hardwood's $5 a square foot plus maybe $1 or $2 to install. I just think that there's a lot of upside. I think that this home in a renovated condition would definitely be between $400 and probably about $430 or so. And it's an unfinished basement, which is fine because when they're finished, they're usually wood paneling and you have to rip that stuff out anyway. So I'm a big fan of that one. I think there's a lot of options there. Separate entrance might open it up for a potential investment property too, which is always a nice thing. And at that price point, that's probably where you want to be, is about under $400 with 2 suites being being rented. That's where you can start to at least argue that it makes a little bit of sense. So short read is at $369. And you've got 2-car parking in the driveway on the side of Philbrook, because when we've seen this model sell for $365, $370, $375, it's usually because it's facing green space. And so this one doesn't. It just faces Philbrook. The photos are really not good. They don't showcase this home at all. And there's a room in here that I think that you need to showcase in the photos, and it's this little den here on the main floor. It's a very handy room for a home office. Even some people use it as a guest bedroom. It's unfortunate. They're gonna have a tough time with the way that they've presented it. It's gonna be tough. This one on short read is at $395. It's an Emery, so it's 1370 square feet. Crown moldings, dark hardwood floors. You've got very tasteful colors throughout, and you can see it's just set up really well. Hardwood stairs, good floor plan, very popular model with first-time buyers. and I think they've got it together. And so the thing about this one is that most of the models that have sold have kind of sold less than this, like from a historical perspective. But the two things they have going for them is that there's hardly anything for sale right now, and they're really nice inside. So they might find themselves on the receiving end of a very good offer because of those two factors. Kennedy Circle is at 415, and so it faces Louis Saint Laurent, which will only continue to become a busier street, but the home itself is lovely. And one of the things that this one has that a lot of homes don't have is an actual defined entrance, and those are becoming more rare because the builders are selling on square footage, so they have to be as competitive and as efficient as possible when building. So it's nice when you've got a home that maybe doesn't have ruthless efficiency, where it's a little more open. And so the main floor, it's a little tough to place furniture here, but it is a nice floor plan, and the finishes are great. The pot lights, the colors on the walls, I think they've done a good job with the photo gallery, and it just presents very, very well. The one staging tip that I would give them is that if you've got a gray house and you've got some interlock here, the one thing that would have enhanced the curb appeal on this is to actually just do the black top on the driveway, is to reseal the driveway, give it a nice fresh black coat, and it changes the whole thing. And the photos look better, the in-person impression is much stronger, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. It's not very expensive. I saw Duncan Lane on the weekend, $439 is the price, 1950 square feet. I think there's two issues with this one that, I wasn't that impressed with. Probably three, actually, come to think of it. The main floor, that looks like hardwood, but it's actually a vinyl floor, and I think it looks better than most laminate floors out there. And it does have a nice impression, but it really does look like hardwood in the pictures. And so you've got one wing, which is basically to the left of the door, living, dining. You have the family room on this side. And so one of the things I was disappointed with was there's only 3 bedrooms, so you figure 1950 square feet. There's certainly an option of doing 4 bedrooms. The second thing was the yard was quite small, and so that doesn't leave a lot of room for kids to play and so on. The third thing is it's right in front of dairy. So, at 1950 square feet, they're holding back on offers till tomorrow night. I can't guarantee that that's going to happen. I think it could go either way. I would say that it's an interesting home. Even the flooring looks nice, but it's not very expensive to put in. Let's see what happens. So Agnew Crescent is $449. Townhouse, 3 bedroom. I don't have a lot of information here. It's less than 2,000 square feet. At least on paper, it's not really being justified. All carpet on the main floor. I don't really see where the value is coming from on it, beyond the fact that it's kind of a newer street. Nakerville is 1,600 square feet. It's a Mattamy, I think, a Spirit Plan 3. Possible ability to park 2 cars side by side. And so inside you've got that's your front dining room to the left of the entrance. Then you have a family room, then you have your kitchen with the island. There's also a pantry, and another staging tip that you're not going to see in this photo gallery is they've got this stand where they have a lot of extra kitchen appliances and tools right beside the pantry. And so when I was through this home on the weekend, one of the things I said to my buyers, I said, what's your impression when you see that there? And there's, utensils and crock pots and everything. And he said, well, there's not enough storage. And I said, exactly. So you got to be really careful when you're selling a home that you don't create the impression that there's not enough storage space in the kitchen. The rest of it looks great. The kids' bathroom, the main bathroom upstairs, if you have kids, is wonderful. It's a cat in the hat theme. You can probably check it out on the virtual tour. It brought a smile to all of our faces. It was really well done. And then you've got, I believe there's homes coming back here, but you'd always want to check with planning and the zoning maps to make sure. So $459 is pretty much going rate for this particular model. It's 1,600 square feet, 3 bedrooms plus a little loft area upstairs, which I have seen converted to a 4th bedroom. Megson Terrace, we're about 1,800 square feet, a little bit less, plus finished basement. There's really nothing. Here's the thing. The appliances are in. the use of that tape has the function of that tape has now been fulfilled. So take that stuff off. It drives me crazy. You're trying to make a home look like it's lived in, not like it's vacated or empty or anything like that. Everyone knows that it's new. You don't have to leave the blue tape on. 464 is okay. To me, it's just a box. It's plain wood. There's really nothing going on that's overly special. We have Woodlawn Crescent here, so it's at 469. Finished basement. You've got 3 bedrooms. And it looks like it's actually got some upgrades and some time and money spent. The kitchen looks a little bit small, but I think the price point's good. 40 by 100. You've got a double car garage. So this is one of my favorite listings of the day, along with the bungalow for sure. And there's 1 or 2 more too that I'll tell you about. So the furniture in here might make that room feel a lot smaller, just because of scale and size and everything else. 40 by 100 foot lot. I'll show you a property in the newer section that has the exact same property. So it's not always as easy as older Milton has big lots, newer Milton has small lots. You can find sometimes there's an overlap, and so you can find the best of both worlds. So finished basement, yeah, I'm feeling this one. I like where it's sitting. You can find a lot of stuff even in Dorset Park, like even back splits and things like that I think that this one has more to offer. Milton Brook, 474.9, 1,800 square feet. I just think that you can get more for your money at 474.9 than a semi at 1,800 square feet, and it's got a 160-foot lot. My problem is that semis and towns never command the same premium for extra yard space as a detached home. If that was on a detached home, it's like rocket fuel. It doesn't always work with the semis and the towns. So anyways, if they do get that money, it's not because of the house, at least in my eyes. It would be because of the property. McRae is in Dorset Park, just off of Churchill. And so I saw the photos in another gallery. You might be able to Google the address, but it's got an in-ground pool. Looks like it's got some decent upgrades, hardwood floors, California shutters, granite counters in the kitchen. Stuff that you wouldn't see in a lot of the homes in the neighborhood. Back split, so a couple stairs up, couple stairs down. And that's about it. Pretty quiet street too. So there's, at $499, we'll see what happens. There's not a whole lot for sale in that neighborhood right now. Miller Way is at $539. It's about 2,400 square feet. And tough to sell a vacant house because you can see all the flaws and all the little chips in the walls and everything that if you had furniture wouldn't be as noticeable. The biggest thing with this one though is that angle is taken for a reason, because right behind here, my biggest problem with this one is the front and the back, because behind 3-story townhouses that really overlook this one, it feels like there's zero privacy. And then the front, you've got a relatively busy street. I mean, Miller Way is really the cut through to get into that whole subdivision off of Derry Road. I mean, aside from Thompson, that's basically it. That's how you get in here. So there is a fair bit of traffic. For the price point at 2,400 square feet, I think that they're one of the larger homes there, but I think that it's going to be a tough one for them. They've been sitting for a while, basically sold it not long after they moved in, so there might have been something that happened there. Vickerman is a 545, one of my favorite picks of the day. You've got some nice interlock here, which is not cheap to do. I bet you that's between $5,000 and $10,000 to do that full walkway. Hardwood floors, pot lights. The kitchen's a little bit small, but they've done a nice job in here. Stuff on top of your cabinets never turns out well in the photos. It kind of looks a little cramped. Separate dining room, separate living room, glass shower, and you've got a nice size property, 40 by 100, so the same as the one on Woodlawn, only this home is probably less than 10 years old. You have green space behind, so there's a little walking trail in the park there, and it's a really nice size yard. So for under $550, this one has a lot going for it. This is definitely one of the picks of the day, and for some reason it showed up twice, so you've got, maybe it's so good it had to be shown double. Caldwell is $559. It's siding onto Derry, so you're going to hear the road noise. The home itself is probably about 2,200 square feet. I don't see any huge redeeming qualities about it, to be honest. There's not a lot that really blows my mind at $559. I just think they're getting crushed by Vickerman. We've got Sunnyvale here at 569. I'll move to the front shot. Kind of a unique house because it's a side split design, which we see more back splits than side splits. Yeah, so you come in the house and then you've got this sort of half walk up, and then you walk up to the bedrooms. There's a main floor family room, and then the kitchen actually overlooks that. You can kind of see one of the other photos that shows that view. So yeah, there it is. See, in the kitchen you can actually overlook the family room. So I like it. I think it's got a great layout. It's one of those homes where it has some dated elements, but I bet you it's got a lot of pride of ownership. And there's a nice sort of lower level too in the basement. At 569, there is a heated in-ground pool, which I think is mostly the reason why they've cranked the price up, because I think that this one is probably worth less than $550 without that pool. So maybe it gets a little bit of a premium for that. But anyways, we'll see what happens with it. Again, not a whole lot for sale in older Milton right now. There's some stuff over 6 and there's stuff like under 5, but there's very few in the 5 to 6 range. Pringles at 614. It is a wood lily corner, so it's 2661 square feet, I think. What you can't see here very well is that there's actually a staggered garage. So this garage is ahead of the other one, so you basically can't park a car here, but you can park a car beside it. What happens is that shift, so the garage to the right here, when that moves forward, it opens floor plan up on the main floor. So you actually get a really nice main floor layout. And so basically that's the reason why the stairs go this way, and it makes more sense when you actually see it. But if you type in Google, if you type in wood lily anatomy, you can probably find the floor plans. 614 is not that far off where most of them are selling, although it doesn't have a tremendous amount of upgrades. The 9-foot ceilings is good, but I would say that definitely hardwood floor is a good investment in a home with that quality. So this one here on Dow Landing, I believe, is about 2,800 square feet. And so $629 is the price. Hardwood stairs. They have a finished basement. I believe it was finished by the builder. And it's a pretty good floor plan upstairs. I like the fact that they've got the mirrors. This is a model home effect where you really get it feels like the bathroom's twice as large when you've got that almost sort of half all the way up to the ceiling mirror there. So seems like a good price, actually. It seems like the stuff in the 6 to 7 range is really struggling right now, and we're starting to see some competition and some pretty good deals happening. So Daglish, I mean, I'm never quite sure how to say it. $639 is the price. What you have here is basically a formal living dining room. You've got your kitchen plus your family room. You've got upstairs. You've got 4 bedrooms, and I believe that you also have 3 full bathrooms upstairs. So it's a former model home. And so the thing about the model homes for the Princess Margaret is that they only have a set budget, so they're not always crazy pimped out. They've chosen their battles, and so the carpet here looks a little bit different than what you'd find in most of the homes, but it certainly looks like it's in good shape. And $639, we're talking about more than 2,500 square feet. I don't recognize the model just offhand, but it certainly looks like it's within the range of fair value. So that's the list for today, 22 properties. If you have any questions, you can give us a call or email us, or just reach out. We're here to help. And I'm going to put a link to the 6 renovations that don't pay back. It's a summary of a lot of the things that we talk about in Milton Daily Homes. So it's good for you if you're a homeowner, or also if you're a potential buyer, to know what you shouldn't be paying for as a premium. So put a link below the video there. And thank you to all the people who came to the buyer class on the weekend. We had a jam-packed room in the new office, and it was I think it was a lot of fun. And we had Colin Best in, sharing a lot of information about the town and development. We had Kimberly Singh, and so she gave us her best, I guess, learnings on the mortgage industry. And then there's me, who basically talked about real estate and the home inspections, and even some of the closing costs and things that you'd want to pay attention to from the money side. So anyways, that's the video. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.